What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Mohawk Motors. My name is Jason. So I've actually managed to get slightly ahead of schedule on my parts pull outs for customers and everything else, and that gives me a little time to work on the blue regular cab short bed. So I did some stuff off camera, boring stuff, you've seen it a million times. I replaced the front wheel bearings. They weren't reading accurately. It wasn't bad enough to turn on the ABS or the check brakes light, but it was bad enough that at low speed it would trigger the ABS. And I find that happens sometimes with vehicles that have spent a long time sitting. I guess it gets gummed up inside of that wheel bearing where the wheel speed sensor is, and it just doesn't read accurately at low speed. So I put new front wheel bearings on it. While I was doing that, I found that the front brake hoses had some dry cracking, which I hadn't noticed that before. I'm surprised the inspector didn't notice it during the inspection. And if you've been here, you know, like, I want my brakes working right. If I'm driving myself, I want to make sure I get home safe. If I'm driving my wife, kids, like, I don't want to be a danger to myself or anybody else on the roadway. So brakes are very important to me. So I got new brake hoses put on. I checked the rear brake hose and that one was healthy, in good shape. So maybe they replaced the rear one and not the front ones, but I did that also. I did a few other odds and ends, cleaned the truck up, put some new tail lights on it, put some new headlights on it. Just things that I thought would make it a little bit more aesthetically pleasing to myself. And today I'm gonna work toward what I think my ultimate goal with this truck is gonna be. So ultimately with this truck, being it's a two-wheel drive, regular cab, short bed truck, arguably one of the lightest truck platforms you can get. I think my goal with this thing, I know my goal with this thing, is going to be to get it to be as lightweight as possible. There's a couple different ways to go fast and do fun things. You can make a whole bunch of power to go fast, or you can be very, very light and go fast. And with this thing, I'm going to start out with the make it lighter portion of things. So something I've been really curious about and have wanted to figure out is which center console setup is in fact lighter. Now, as you know, the truck came with this center console, the flip down open close center console slash third jump seat. But a lot of trucks, the higher trims, the nicer packages, you could get with a full center console like this. And I want to find out which one is lighter, and is there an advantage to swapping besides, you know, the creature comforts? Like, the cup holders in the flip down center console are mounted kind of low. You still get some storage space, which is nice. And it does in fact turn into a third seat if you need to get another person in the car with you. But if you don't see yourself needing that third seat, I really think the full center console is a little bit nicer. You've got a nice storage box in it. The cup holders are higher and easier to reach. You also have a little space here, and all these little cubbies. So I'm going to do a side-by-side comparison for you. I'm going to show you, you know, which one is lighter, what the pros, what the cons are, and how you can get there. All right, so to make this as apples to apples as possible, I want to remove all the stuff out of the center console that the truck isn't going to support having anyway, right? So this console is out of a truck that had the Bose sound system with the subwoofer in the center. It had rear heat coming through. It's still got the Bose amplifier down in there. None of that stuff is going to function in this truck because it's not wired to support any of it. So having that in there is just it's dead weight that it's not going to do anything. So I'm going to go through, I'm going to get the subwoofer out of it, the additional rear heat AC piping out of it, the amplifier, and probably most of this wiring too, because again, like I said, it won't have any function in this truck, so there's no sense in having it there. It's just dead weight. Alright, so what all came out of there? The factory amplifier, the factory subwoofer, and the little factory subwoofer box. All the wiring. Now this typically connects to the subwoofer, to the cigarette lighters, to the amplifier. It connects everything in the console to a main plug that runs underneath of it. And then this additional HVAC tube that goes to the rear. Now, I'm curious how much all this stuff weighs. I just bought a scale, so I'm gonna get a bag or a box or something and see if I can't weigh this stuff and see how much weight I actually got out of that console. And I'll be able to give you a breakdown of all this once it's all done. All right, so here's my scale. All right, I'm gonna use a Napa bucket. I have two identical Napa buckets here. So I'm gonna hang that. And that's reading 2 pounds. So I'm gonna zero here. And then I've got everything I took out of that console. The subwoofer, the amplifier, the subwoofer box, that little HVAC duct. And what do we get out of there? Can you see? 11.5 pounds. It's actually more than I thought it was gonna be. So getting all that stuff out of that console, because it's not gonna work anyway, you got 11.5 pounds out of that console. So I'm gonna bring the console over, weigh it, see how much it weighs now. All right, so gonna zero the scale again. All right, reading 0 pounds. There we go. All right, so we're reading 0. Let's get this one there. All right, so the console with everything that we don't need taken out of it, the stuff that's not going to work, I'm reading 28 pounds. So that console now gives us a number for that. Let's see here. There we go. So now I've got the flip down console on the scale. Whoa. Make sure we're not touching the ground. All right, what's that give us? No kidding. Also 28 pounds. Well, how about that? They weigh the same amount. I was not expecting that. I thought there'd be a little difference. Okay. Well, I guess then what we're going to see, if there is any difference at all, it's going to be in our lower dash pieces here. The glove box section includes the little ashtray and this center part. So once we get that out of there, we'll weigh these between the two trucks, or between the two different setups, and see which one weighs more. I think this one is going to be, for the flip down console, I think that lower dash is going to be just slightly heavier than the lower dash for the full center console. So if it's going to save us any weight, that's going to be what it is, just whatever the difference between that and the other one is. So I'll pop that out and then we'll compare those. So just to give you a good visual representation of the difference, so up here, this is the passenger side and center lower dash for the flip down center console. And then here is a passenger side lower dash and the console mounting support for a full center console. So you can see slight difference here. I don't know how much difference it's going to be in weight, maybe a pound or two. So I'm going to hang it up there and we'll see what we get. How can I hang it though? Like this. Okay, so for the glove box lower dash portion and the little mounting bracket for full center console is 6.5 pounds, 6.5 pounds. Now the equivalent parts for the flip down center console, we're getting 7.5 pounds. So the what the truck has, the flip down center console, this setup, by the time it's all said and done, for me, it's a pound heavier. So I'll take approximately 1 pound out of the truck with all the work I did, removing the amplifier, the subwoofer box, all the wiring, all of that unneeded, isn't gonna work stuff from the full center console. Is it really worth your time? Probably not. If you were to just stick that center console in there with everything still in it, I mean, you saw that was another 10.5 pounds. So depending on what you're trying to do, my goal with this truck is to make it as light as possible, but still be a fully assembled, everything works, you'd never know that I had messed with it truck by the time it's all said and done. So I'm still going to chalk it up as a win, because the truck will be 1 pound lighter than it was when I started. And I mean, I got to have fun out here working on it this afternoon and show you guys what I learned along the way. So I'm at the point now I need to pull the seats out and then start putting everything back together. I guess the other advantage too is the full center console, you know, you get a little bit nicer storage compartment here. I'll have nicer cup holders, place to put my phone, all that stuff too. So like I said, it's not going to be a huge difference in weight overall. I mean, I'm only going to get a pound out of the truck, all said and done. But comfort, it'll be a little bit nicer. And style, it'll be a little bit nicer. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Let's finish, let's get the seats out of this thing and finish getting it all put back together. All right, team, so I've got my lower dash pieces all put back in with the bracket for the center console. So Only thing left now is poke the center console in here. I can't remember if this plastic trim stays or goes with the center console, so I'll have to peek at another truck. I think that needs to come off, but yeah, if that's the case, then I'll get that off of there and then put the center console back in here and be a whole pound lighter. Woo! All right, everybody, so it's sitting in here now. Everything looks to be lining up pretty well. Was able to retain my power wires for the power port and cigarette lighter port, so I'll still have those available to me. And then all that holds these, the 03 and to 06 style consoles in, guys, there's two 10mm bolts in here. Those go into that bracket in the dash, and then it just sits under the mounts for the seats. So I've got those 10mm tight. I'll get the seats put back in, get the dash bezel put back in, and then that's it. This piece is installed. So I'm pumped. I'll be a pound lighter and a little bit more comfortable. All right, everybody. Well, there we go. All installed. Fits up. Looks pretty good, I think. I even went and got the factory RPO code sticker out of the other glove box and put it into this one. So everything's where it should be, how it should be. Fits up nicely. I did look at another truck I have, and this little gray trim is there with the center console, so it's all fits up really well. I'm really happy with this. I think it was a worthwhile investment of time and effort. Nice little place to put stuff. Nice armrest when I'm driving. So yeah, I'm pretty pumped about it, team. A little bit of added comfort when I'm driving this thing around, and I saved myself a pound in the efforts to make this truck as light as possible while still maintaining fit, finish, function, aesthetics, you know, being a generally nice truck. So thanks a lot for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and until the next video, everybody, take care.